New Mexico PBS and the criminal section of the New Mexico Bar Association held a forum for the candidates. They answered questions about behavioral health services, economic development, and the Albuquerque Rapid Transit, of course. And they addressed many angles on crime and public safety. Let's hear part of that forum now.
Very good. So the first question, Ms. Wheeler-Dykes, will go to you, and then we'll swing back down to the end and head down to the line from there. We've all seen the terrible statistics. The biggest one, of course, that we've seen is that Albuquerque leads the nation in car thefts per capita. That, of course, only scratches the surface of the question about crime, something you all mentioned in your opening statement. What uniquely is the crime problem in Albuquerque that has brought us to the situation that we're in now?
Well, it's a combination of two things, Jeff. But of course, they relate very closely to one another. It's drug addiction, drug abuse, coupled with poverty. Poverty underscores everything in our city. So that makes us somewhat unique, but not particularly unique. And poverty isn't necessarily a factor in every drug addiction situation. So were we asking for solutions?
That'll be the next question.
Okay, well, is that it? Or
Sure.
should I continue?
Please continue describing
okay.
what you think the problem is.
Well, I'm describing that as I do know that data suggests that 92% of all of our police calls right now concern either crises related to drug issues, mental and behavioral health issues, and folks who have found themselves to be unhoused, all of a combination of those things. As a city, we're going to have to take a multifaceted approach. There certainly are no simple answers. One of the things that I want to suggest, though, are mobile units that are dispatched throughout the city, possibly up to 12, that are like RVs that are staffed by medical professionals and psychological professionals that can triage folks right on the street and then transfer them to the mental health, behavioral health, physical health campus that we don't have presently. I'm suggesting something like the Tucson, Arizona model.
Thank you. Ms. Garcia-Holmes?
You know, it's a lot of issues, and I've given this a lot of thought. Number one, I'm going to say there's a lack of officers. APD is suffering from a lack of police officers and manpower to investigate cases. They have investigated good cases over the years and submitted those cases to the district attorney's office. However, we're dealing with the perfect storm. We ended up with a case management order that made it difficult to prosecute cases. There are a lot of issues that occur when you can't prosecute cases. And then now there was a constitutional change that then affected how individuals were released from jail. So now we have this revolving door because felons are released on their own recognizance, and they're allowed to get out on the streets. And we've all seen, you know, the young man's face on TV where he smiles when he got ROR'd and got released with no bond. We're dealing with a tough system that needs changes, and it needs changes at the state level, it needs changes at the legislative level, and we need more manpower in the police department.
Thank you. Councilor Lewis?
This city is defined by crime because nobody goes to jail in the city. And they don't stay there very long. And reforms by the court and the decisions of the New Mexico Supreme Court, they overshot in the effort to reduce the jail population. When you let 2,000 people out of jail over a couple of years, crime is going to go up in the city of Albuquerque. And when you identify 300 or 400 repeat habitual offenders that are stealing most of the cars, breaking into most of the businesses and homes, we have to have a mayor who will call it what it is. And it's not passing the blame, it's simply saying we are going to have to make the kind of decisions that are going to lead to accountability. And the fact is, decisions that have been made have led to no accountability. When people are out in the streets very quickly after seeing a judge, and when there's no consequences. We do need a police department that is fully staffed, and so it's going to take leadership to be able to do that. It's going to take money to be able to do that. We're going to have to prioritize in our budgets public safety, and that means increasing officer pay. That means giving them a competitive wage. But we have to be making more arrests, and we need to do policing, community policing that's intelligent and smart. We know where crime is going to happen in most areas of the city. And so it takes a strong police department that's respected and trusted, that the people in the city trust. And it's going to take changes to the criminal court system, the justice system. We have to, and I'm interested in hearing, in talking to the criminal section of the New Mexico Bar, because we need their insight, because this is a problem and a challenge that all of us are going to have to deal with.
Mr. Pedrati?
Uniquely, we misunderstood ourselves. And this goes all the way back to the Hyde shootings. When we chose to, instead of respond with more services for behavioral health issues in our community, we escalated our police force. We didn't look to serve our communities more, we looked to protect ourselves, only understanding ourselves as a very small population in our entire city. This moved on, this created a culture of aggression, and now we end up in a DOJ mandate, which in so many ways tells us ways to fix these issues that we're still obstinate to because we can't hold ourselves accountable. Of course we have a police shortage, only after decisions were made that made people want to leave, after cultures that felt oppressive even within the police units. All of these things are social issues. They're ways that we've neglected very vulnerable and important communities in our city. And the fact that we aren't moving forward with real plans to try and engage all of that together, to understand ourselves within our own context and holistically approach these situations, means that crime might not change in our city unless we have real alternatives for how to address behavioral health issues, addiction, and situations of homelessness through services other than our police force. Not asking them to be behavioral health professionals anymore, then we might not get there.
Thank you. Mr. Keller?
You know, I think actually there's been some great pieces raised on this. For me, the challenge is we are aware of this, and we continue to look at the big picture, and I think that's so important. It is about poverty, and it's about addiction, and it's about gangs, and it's about the challenges of resources in the courts and the DA, and it's about how our city gutted the auto theft department, the unit that actually went after this. And so these are all real things, but I think what we've got to do going forward is we've got to actually be specific about what a mayor can do. You know, I am more than willing to go fight for money at the legislature, for our courts, and for our DA. I am more than willing to go talk to judges and to the DA about what we can do about revolving door criminals. But at the end of the day, the mayor's got to know what the mayor can do on their own. And I think that's what is important right now. So for me, it's about holding even the purchasers of stolen cars accountable. And it's about actually getting treatment delivered now through building a treatment facility in our city.
Thank you. Mr. Kwan?
Visibility, enforcement, and execution. These are the things that we need to think about. We've got crime in our community. Yes, it's driven by opioid addiction, driven by gang violence, driven by behavioral health, mental health issues, and yes, of course, the underlying overall issue is poverty in our community. But at the end of the day, if you want to talk to members of the criminal law section of the state bar, they'll tell you there's no more prosecution. They will tell you that there are no longer DWI arrests. I want to believe that part of that is because we have Uber and Lyft in our community. But at the end of the day, we have zero visibility and zero enforcement because we do not have proper staffing for our police department. So the number one concern has to be not just budgeting for the proper number of officers, which it surprises people to learn that we have a budget that represents staffing at 1,000 officers on our streets and in our community. But unfortunately, we're about 150 officers short because we've enjoyed what they call vacancy savings. What I say is we can't enjoy vacancy savings because it's costing a whole heck of a lot more on the back end with crime in our community.
I want to follow up. Some of you scratched a little bit at what you could possibly do to address the issue. And I know that you've all or most of you have released plans on your websites and had news conferences about how you will address the crime problem. My question is, what are the two things, and we'll start with you, Mr. Colon, what are the two things specifically that as the mayor you can do to address the problem? Not what do the courts need to do, what do the judges need to do, what does the district attorney need to do? As the mayor, what are the top two things that you can do starting on your first day in office to address the problem?
Jeff, the first thing we've got to do is rebuild trust. The trust has been broken between the leadership in APD and the administration and rank and file officers, the women and men that patrol our streets of Albuquerque. Secondly, the trust has been broken between APD and the citizens of Albuquerque. We have got to make a commitment to true constitutional community policing. So for me, it's about sending signals and messages and rolling up my sleeve and saying, yes, we're going to have a new chief of police. Yes, that new chief of police, she or he will report directly to the mayor. We're going to roll up our sleeves and be engaged in this issue. No longer will Albuquerque residents turn on the TV to find a different public information officer every evening. They need to be hearing from our chief. They need to know that we're staffing our substations in the community. Why? Because we've made a true commitment to community and constitutional policing. So one, we've got to restaff appropriately. We've got to have new leadership with that staffing. And two, we've got to get back into our neighborhoods. That's how you address issues of crime in our community.
Thank you. Ms. Wheeler-Dykesel?
I don't disagree with Brian at all. First thing we'll do is find a replacement for our police chief, doing a national search, but we certainly won't neglect to look at qualified talent locally. Then, starting with that, examine our command staff, complete the Department of Justice settlement agreement to a T and exceeding its expectations. But at the same time, we must also address the many issues relating to poverty, drug addiction, a lack of education and opportunity, and those are very, very complicated things. I too will roll up my sleeves, as I always have done, and get out there and lead from the front. And I completely believe that our chief and our mayor will show up to things that matter the most to the community. Their faces will appear on TV, and they'll have something to say about it.
Ms. Garcia-Holmes?
A follow-up, I guess. Two things. I agree with Brian on this. I think we need new management in the police department and new leadership. Definitely, that's something the mayor has control over. But the other thing we have to do with that is we've got to get the politics out of policing. You know, we tend to not understand where we're going with things, and there's a lot of politics involved in policing, and we have to allow the officers to do their job. They have to be able to get out there, they have to be able to investigate cases, they have to be able to make arrests, and basically do their job. And it all reflects back on the leadership and management of the police department. If you have good leadership, they're going to make good policy, and you're going to have good officers out on the streets doing their job, not violating that good policy that's written. The other thing is we need proper staffing in the police department. We do not have enough officers, bottom line.
Councilor Lewis, two things.
Well, our police need good leadership. Speaking of the police department, we have to have somebody they can trust. I'll have their backs. We'll ensure that they're well-led, well-paid, and well-trained. But it starts by ensuring that they're well-paid. We're losing officers to other agencies, and we stop that by ensuring that they have a competitive wage, and that means a pretty significant increase. I voted against 3 budgets 2 months ago, because they did not put a priority on public safety. On day one, I'll propose a $15 million in our budget that would go directly to the Albuquerque Police Department for wages, for salaries. And we'll be competitive. We won't have to worry about return to work before the state legislature. We will have officers returning to work if we pay them 90% of their para. We have an incredible para. We also have other agencies around the country that are rating their para. And officers that are leaving those other agencies, and we have an opportunity to be able to aggressively attract lateral, experienced police officers to this department. So it's making sure they're well-led, well-paid, well-trained, they have the right leadership, and ensure that we pay them well to keep them here. We'll get to 1,200 officers. It won't be a question of, how many do we need? It'll be how fast can we get those officers.
Mr. Pedrati?
Immediately from the mayor's office, things that we can do, obviously get a new police chief, clear house in the command staff, really change the culture in the department right away. Also, we can move forward with making sure that we're using all the tools in the toolbox to finish the DOJ mandate by getting an appointed special master. This will allow for better oversight and commitment to the actual full completion of that mandate. And it makes it so that now the city can focus on service side support and making sure that no police chief can be obstinate towards changes, that no mayor or city council can be obstinate towards changes. And it also ensures that that person doesn't necessarily have the same skin in the game as a new police chief or an interim police chief, protecting that morale in that whole community. Meanwhile, we double down on that service side support model. We figure out how to use existing healthcare models like Project Echo and renovate it, ideas from Albuquerque for Albuquerque, and renovate it for city side services to better address those underlying problems of crime. Saying we're going to get those 800 officers, the 400 and some odd on the ground beat officers into communities faster through community policing models. We're going to be aggressive towards that academy change, towards de-escalation, more being a paraprofessional and resource to communities too.
Mr. Keller?
I think a lot of these are good ideas. I think it's important, though, we got to understand everything that I'm hearing costs money. And I think the mayor's got to know actually how to pay for this. And that's what I'm going to do on day one, is do things that we can actually pay for right away. First, we need more officers on the streets, literally. Every officer in my department is going to take calls on the street, from the chief all the way on down. That automatically puts 100 more folks on the streets. The second thing is, yes, we need a new chief and so forth, but if we get the DOJ out of there, we can use the legal fees, the millions of dollars that we're spending on legal fees, to hire more cops. The vacancy savings is real. We've got to use that money to reach out to former officers that are in Rio Rancho and Las Lunas and all around us and say, come back and help your city. Because now there is a mayor in charge who will be fair when it comes to promotion, fair when it comes to discipline, and we're going to have a chief that believes in community policing. Those are the kinds of things that are actually going to build more police presence on the streets and restore trust.